can we get a hide all players option? Now, my first reaction to that is, why would you need that? Why are you playing an MMO if you want to hide all the players, right? Why? A better option would be to hide individual players outside of the option for hide all, or it would exist even if you turn off hide all. Some RP AFKers genuinely get on my nerves. So obviously the response is, why even play an MMO? And I glanced through this a bit here today, this morning. I think there is actually there's already mods that do this. There are already mods that do this that you should not use because they're illegal and they will jeopardize your account. But I think it's for particular people, like basically like a void list where if you don't like somebody, you just won't see them anymore, you know? And this person's actually has a really good point. They said that you are in a large breathing world. It's a living, breathing world. It should feel lived in as an MMO. I think that's one of the main things that makes an MMO an MMO. Even though I would say that I am a person that I am super on board with Yoshi P making the game story fully soloable. Like, I think that's a great idea. I think it's very good to future-proof the game for years and years and years and years. Even after maybe there's a new Final Fantasy game that we've all moved on to, people will always be able to go through the main story. Even like after we've all moved on to whatever the next big Final Fantasy MMO is that definitely has bunny boys and bunny girls in it. I'm thinking like way, way, way into the distant future. So I'm all for that. I think it's great. But I also think that like the bare minimum that should be in an MMO to make it still an MMO would be seeing the other people in the damn game. Like, not necessarily forcing you to do stuff with them, unless it's like raiding in-game content. Not forcing you to do the story with them is what I really mean to say. But like having them around. At some point I remember someone saying a comment like, it doesn't remove anything from your experience to allow other people to not see who's around them, to just turn off all other players. They don't see the problem because it's not affecting you personally, but I kind of disagree with that. Like, I think it does affect you when everyone has the option to do that freely and easily, because I feel like knowing that the people around you can't see you in your like cursed metallic gold frog chicken chimera hybrid hellspawn outfit they got on, like, if knowing that they can't see you, that's different. It's got to feel different. Like knowing that you're standing out in Limsa, you got your ultimate weapon, you're supposed to be, you know, flexing your EP in there for everybody to see it. You're preening, you know, thinking, you're standing there, you're thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me and how cool I am and my achievement, right? That's like, to me, that's an essential part of the MMO experience. And I do feel like it does put a little damper on that if you're like, well, what if nobody here can actually see me? Like, I think that's kind of depressing. Like, I do not want to be running around the game like the ghost of Christmas past, you know, where like I can only see them but not interact with other people. Am I real? I don't want to play an MMO like that, dude. It's a breathing world. And however, you know, there were some decent points made here. This person has said that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. It's not other players only, yeah, that make the world and the game feel real. A big portion of the world belongs to the NPCs and the AI, and that's completely true. especially in Final Fantasy 14. That's so narrative based. But there is still a little bit more to it than that. And I don't think it's asking a lot. Like, I don't see what's hard about ignoring the people around you. Just don't, you could maybe go into an apartment or a house or in maybe the island sanctuary later. I don't know how instance that's gonna be. We don't know a lot about it, but that might be a way to get away from people. You could maybe join a lower population server, but yeah, I agree with Magic Peanut. Not a big deal to not be seen by some people. By some people, I think the idea of the void listing certain people is not a bad idea. Like, it's so that if there's someone that you have on your blacklist and you just do not want to see them at all, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad idea. But I'm talking about like turning off seeing everybody around you. That seems really, really different. Yeah, Lilac said you can run around the world at 4 a.m. You could. I mean, you could play in off-peak hours, but I don't know if it's really worth waking up at the butt crack of dawn just so that you don't have to see people humping each other in, well, maybe it is worth it, actually. You know, maybe they have a point, after all. Maybe they actually have a pretty good point here. Honestly, you could just, if you want to play an MMO all by yourself, you could just play Alliance on Malgana's server and WoW. You could just go play like a super unbalanced server and WoW. You'll be all by yourself. You'll be the only person in Stormwind. But I do think, though, that we are going to be seeing a lot more people who want this kind of stuff as the game becomes more and more friendly to solo players, more and more friendly to that, you know, solo-oriented people. And I also don't think that people are like 100% antisocial all the time or 100% social all the time. I think most of us do sort of like flip-flop between these two times where like sometimes you just want to be left alone and sometimes you want to be more social. I think most people are sort of like go between these two like modes. And I don't think players are these unchanging monoliths that want to be stuck doing one thing the same way all the time. I don't think that's really realistic. But then again, you know, going through the story, you are spending the vast majority of your time all by yourself in the cutscenes. There's like, once you start that cutscene, everybody's gone and you are all by yourself. That's just you and the NPCs there. And that's a massive, that's hundreds of hours of your play on your first playthrough. So yeah, it's just something to think about because I know that there is a lot of people who do freak out at the whole prospect of the game attracting lots of solo-oriented players, even though that is what Yoshi P said that he wants and that I strongly agree with. I think it's great. But there are some things, there are still some things that are core to the identity of an MMO. Like, I'm all for the MMO expanding and evolving and adapting and becoming more than what it traditionally has been, like widening the gate to more types of people, but I still think that there are some things that are core to the experience. Like just going into the damn city and seeing other people, okay? I don't think it's asking a whole lot to just go to Gridania instead. Like, just go to... Oh my god. Just go to Gridania instead of Limsa, okay? Maybe it's a little bit less convenient to the market board. You could level up and get to Charlene. Charlene is like Limsa if Limsa was clean. So it's like if Limsa is Walmart and Gridania is Target, what is Charlene? Like, what's more upscale? Is Charlene like Trader Joe's or something? It's like Whole Foods. I wonder if people that want to hide other players have completely thought through what they're asking for. I wonder if they'd complain about the difficulty of trying to do fates that require a party or tons of other people without being able to see them. Such a good point. Such a good point. But I think that what they want is to hide all other players but still have other players do damage. Right? I mean, you could hide other players, but then you have to solo everything.